And in economic news, new tariffs on overseas goods are expected to ripple through multiple sectors, raising costs and impacting both manufacturers and end consumers.
Newly announced tariffs are adding pressure to global supply chains. Experts say the effects won't stop at physical goods.
Wait, your professional services business is still at risk.
How so?
Even though services businesses do not import goods and are not directly subject to tariffs, don't relax. Your clients likely are, or clients of their clients. There are ripple effects throughout all of the economy, and if they are affected, so are you. Seriously though, let's talk about tariffs. Hi, I'm Kate, and in this video I wanted to talk about tariffs and their implications on service businesses specifically. So why is your service business at risk? Companies that import goods from other countries and that need to pay tariffs will incur additional costs, which they may or may not be able to pass on to end consumer. And this might affect their sales, their revenue, their bottom line. As they review their strategy, they might reassess their budgets, which will likely lead to budget cuts, which will likely lead them to having less disposable money to spend on additional projects, including potentially services or projects with your business. Also, if they have to pay tariffs, they might incur additional strain on their cash resources, which might result in them delaying their payments to you. So even though you might not pay $1 in tariffs, your revenue may get impacted. Your ability to collect from your clients may be impacted, because if your clients are impacted or their clients are impacted, so are you. So what do tariffs teach us? What can we do? Is there anything we can do right now at all? Yes, there are certain things that your business can do right now to safeguard itself against potential tariff impacts. First thing you can do right now is diversification, specifically as it relates to client concentration. What is client concentration? It shows how your revenue is distributed among your clients. And if you have high client concentration, you might potentially have some work to do. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have 10 clients, and each one is bringing you 1 million in revenue. So you have 10 million of revenue distributed among 10 clients. Now, if you're making the same 10 million in revenue, but you have only 2 clients, one is spending, let's say, 6 million with you, and another one 4, you have the same revenue, but it's distributed between just 2 clients. So that's high client concentration. If one of those clients leaves, or if both of them either leave or reduce their spend with you, your business will be impacted hard. And it will be very challenging to replace this revenue, especially if you need to do it quickly. So the advice is to avoid high client concentration. The rule of thumb is you don't want any one client to be more than 30% of your revenue. Next one, leadership focus. If you're a CEO, you want to focus on sales and retaining client relationships. This advice is especially important in conjunction with my previous point about high client concentration. You might need to bring in additional sales to diversify your client base. Stay out of micromanagement. And if you can't trust your team to run things without you, you have something to think about. Either it's your team that's not reliable, and you might need to potentially restructure, or the problem is you, and you need to change the way you work with your team and learn how to trust them. Next strategy is proactive client engagement. Leverage your client services or client success teams. Gauge how your clients are doing so that you know beforehand if they are in trouble and if they might stop paying you or delay their payments, or if the revenue that you were hoping they will bring later in the year is not going to happen. Monitor your client health. Build those relationships. If they are in trouble, you want to know right away, right after the news leaves their boardroom. This will give you more time to prepare and safeguard your own business. Next is several potential financial strategies that you can implement when you start noticing the red flags. Offer better payment terms or discounts before losing revenue. If you get word that a client is in trouble, and if they are strapped for cash, or if their bottom line is struggling, and you think they might potentially drop you, offer them discounts. Offer better payment terms. Now, do not do this before you are 100% sure that they are in trouble and that they might leave you. But if this conversation with them starts, it's always better to give some concessions before you lose all of the revenue. Next one, have your finance look into which costs can be cut before you start cutting people. As a service business, your team is extremely important to you. They are the ones who are producing the revenue for you. You know like no other how long it takes to find the right people, to train them, and to retain them. So if you've lost some of the revenue and you need to cut the costs, see what else you can cut before you cut your team. Also have your finance team look into which investments that were planned for this year could be cut back or moved to the next year. This will help you preserve the cash. Also, revisit your annual budget. If the changes to the market or the client base are significant, and a lot of the assumptions that you had when you were writing this budget are not applicable anymore, you might need to rebudget with the new assumptions. You might need to get lean, but you just need to do this to survive this tough period. You can pick up your expansion aspirations and additional projects and additional spending as soon as things get better. Next, operational and strategic moves. Look for ways to cut the costs. If it is possible or feasible, you might try outsourcing to cost-effective regions. For example, Latin America, India, and other countries. Start with non-core tasks that are easy to teach and are easy to outsource, and then potentially look into offering some of the core tasks there as well. Do this if this makes sense in your line of business, and if it will help you significantly cut the costs. If you don't do it, clients will find other companies that do. In line with outsourcing, you could also explore new markets. Open subsidiaries in strategic jurisdictions, for example, those with cheaper labor costs, or those where you may potentially sell your services with a good margin. You could also reach out to your vendors and ask for better payment terms. Explain the situation to them, explain how you are affected, and ask them for some grace, at least temporarily. A lot of companies will do that for you, and chances are that's what they will do with their vendors as well. Finally, don't forget about the power of communication. Communicate with your team. You should all work together. And at times like these, it is very important for the information to reach the stakeholders very soon. Ensure that key financial and client health information reaches decision makers quickly. Promote a collaborative, all-hands-on-deck mindset. Your goal as a company is to be adaptable and agile. Also, don't forget, tariffs are just one example of external shocks. We had COVID a few years ago. You never know what's going to happen. The big question is, how resilient is your business? Review your client base, cost structure, and internal communications today. Don't wait for the crisis to hit. And to help you in this risk assessment, I created a checklist. Follow the link in the description to download it for free. I made it specifically for service businesses that want to stay resilient. Best of luck to you. And remember, every crisis is temporary. But if you are prepared, you will sleep better at night. Hope you found the information in this video helpful. I'll see you in the next one.